Good morning, old donkey here. So I'm doing a valve cover gasket on the 2013 Escape. Uh, like I said before, I don't usually work on this, so this is my first. But this is one I've just put the turbo oil line on, and we made that okay. The customer did get me original Ford line. I suggest that because the aftermarket, I had the aftermarket one with the stainless steel coating and stuff. It wasn't flexible. You turn it where it needs to be, wants to collapse the inner hose. So I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend going to Ford, getting the right part. So here the valve cover I thought would be pretty simple on this. Well, think again. I guess I'm not the biggest Ford fan. I'm just used to working on Volkswagen Audis. So you know, they all got their personality. I'm sure the Ford guys, these are a piece of cake for them. So, but I'll show you a little bit what we got going on. Okay, I pulled the coils out, and there's a top cover here on the valve cover where the coils go into. And make sure you get all the bolts out of there. There's a little stud in the back, and don't pry on it if it won't come off, so you don't break it. And I thought it'd be just a piece of cake to pull this valve cover off, but apparently I was wrong. So first thing I got in here, some little hoses around the outside, breather hoses, and there's some oil laying down in the trough where the plugs go. But here I see I have to pull the high pressure fuel rail, and I'm filming some of this with the afterthought because I never did it before, so I have to feel my way through. I guess I could have filmed feeling my way through and thinking about it like Ivan at Pine Hollow Diagnostics. Yeah, man, that guy's good. I like to watch him, so I always watch what Ivan puts out up there. And State College, PA, I think it is. But take high pressure fuel line off. And now I took the bolts out of the high pressure fuel rail, and I'm looking at it. I was thinking the top of the rail should come off the O-rings, okay, but sometimes these O-rings will stick pretty good, so I'm feeling my way through on this. So I'm gonna try to spray some lubricant on these and see if I can get this top rail off okay without damaging anything, because the end of the rail goes out over the valve cover. You can't get it off, and there's a bracket back here with some bolts that holds down the valve cover. This half of this rear cover, it has an aluminum housing there, and I think it's RTV. I don't know, that maybe should be done, taken off and reseal that, because it looks like there might be some oil leakage over here at the end. So I'll get going a little bit further here, and I'll keep you posted. Okay, so I got one end broke loose, and I sprayed some stuff around the bottom, and then I just rocking it back and forth. Careful what you're prying on. Just be kind of careful. So I'm rocking it. And I got the same thing over here. Rocking. Okay. Watch when you're wiggling this, that'll spit gasoline. I got a little spit gasoline at you. You can see it's running out of the fuel rail, so it's a little bit messy, but there's just little cups like that. O-ring came off right there. So make sure where your O-rings are. There's one left up in there. Take it out, put it back on. Then lubricate these a little bit when you put them back on. So looks okay. So down in here, you can see, and there's little tabs that push up against that rail that holds the injector down tight. The little tabs right there. And so that ain't too bad. On the back, I don't know if we can get the back cover off. Might end up having to pull those injectors, but we'll see what goes. So that comes off. Just be real careful. Rock it back and forth. I just sprayed like at the base. It might have worked a little bit up in, but that might not have helped. But the gasoline in the rail, once you work it a little bit, will probably lubricate them enough to get the rail off. Just be careful. Pry on, don't put too much pressure, and be patient. Be patient like an old donkey. Alright, okay. Let's try something else. I'm just going to barely tap that. Okay, I can hear the fronts breaking loose. I'm not hitting it very hard. Oh, I think. Making sure again I got all the bolts. I got all the bolts. Front's loose. This looks like this would be a real easy thing to break. But we don't want to do that. It's really stuck here where it goes over top of the cam. So, let me see something else. Try to lift just a little bit here. That ain't working too great. That's scary. Ooh, oh donkey. Oh, there's a bolt underneath that solenoid. So there is a bolt underneath the variable valve timing solenoid underneath there, down in the corner. So be careful with that. So I got to pull that solenoid. There isn't any in the back. Probably the Ford guys watching this probably laughing at me. Okay, so I got to pull the variable cam timing solenoid and get the bolt directly underneath it. Okay. There it is. Hiding. Gotta love some of these engineers, don't you? Oh, okay, the front's loose. Stuck pretty good on the back. Oh donkey. Gotta open my eyes, I guess. There's one in the back too. I hate to show my mistakes here. That's why when you first First time you do something, boy, you gotta keep them eyes open. Sometimes it's hard to see some of the stuff hidden. And it doesn't look like something's there, and then it is. So, that's why you just try to be gentle. Work these back and forth. So you have to pull both solenoids. So there's a stud back in here with high pressure fuel pump line. See, that's the one that goes up through the back of this. So you got to take this nut off of there. I hope you can see it. So the stud takes the internal torque, or female torque, or whatever you want to call it. And that comes off. Okay. So then there's external torques here. Looks like about a 35 or 40. There we go. That's it. That is a 45. Of course, you can use a socket on those too. I could probably take the line off and leave this on the cover. But might hold some pressure on it when we're putting it back, so we don't want to do that. Okay, I'm probably blocking your view. So that's what those look like. Let's see if I can move it around here a little bit. I need a helper to do the camera work. All right, so got them out. Take this. This is just a plunger. Goes up and down and pushes stuff. So we'll lay this back there somewhere. Yep, that'll rest there. This is the cam position sensor. Gotta keep changing sockets. Gotta love it. There's a lot of 10s, there's a lot of 8s, and on the back of this top cover there was 2 7s. So you gotta keep changing them. This would be too much. Those little things are pretty tight. They got Loctite on them, cam sensor bolts. Lord knows, it takes a lot to hold them, huh? Okay, so I think we can pull that back cover now. Make sure don't have any spark plugs out. When you're doing this, you wouldn't want to drop a bolt in the spark plug hole. Okay, got the front row. Boy, it's got a lot of stuff squeezed out. Okay, I loosen down. And now I take a, let's take a magnet and pull them out so I don't drop them. Okay, so let's see how hard this is to get off. I think I got all the bolts. So, use our my handy dandy screwdriver. Your little tab sticking out there. I'm hoping. Got a, ah, boy, look at there. Came loose. Oh, it's got a bunch of junk back in there. Glue in it. Glued pretty good on the back. All the screws, it took out a whole bunch of RTV on the back there. There could be a dowel pin. Ah. Boy, it's got a lot of goo back there. I don't see no more bolts. That bolt's out. Make sure it's all the way out. It's out. Okay. Boy, it's got RTV hanging out. I don't know if it's ever been resealed, but it sure is glued. I'm looking, I ain't missed any bolts. It's just somebody really squirted a bunch of RTV in there. Maybe to keep it from, hopefully, I don't have to take anything else off back here. Let me work on this a minute. A little update on this Escort. I mean, not Escort, Escape. I'll tell you, I think some engineer must have ate some bad pizza and then laid awake all night trying to think this up. Is it supposed to make it harder for technicians, or what's the deal here? Do they hate us? So there's aluminum plate on the back of this engine, which so far I could only find 2 bolts. But they built a little tab out that stops you from being able to pull that aluminum part of the valve cover off, okay, where the high pressure fuel pump rides. I have no idea why they would do that. And this aluminum piece in the back that keeps it from coming off, I can't seem to find out how it's held on. All I can find is 2 bolts. So this thing's very, very frustrating. That's the only thing keeping this from coming off. Do they think it never has to come off? It's leaking here in the back corner. Okay, so the RTV don't last forever. And to take this off, I don't know, I'm sure the Ford guys know what to do. I don't think I want to learn to be a Ford guy. Everybody talks about Volkswagen, Audi, and European cars, and oh, they're just terrible to work on and everything. I don't think so. So I got a feeling that they grind this little tab down to get this, especially flat raters. I'm sure they aren't. I don't know what you have to take off to get the shield off, but I'm going to do some investigating. There's nothing on YouTube, because most of the people just replace the valve cover gasket, just replace the plastic part. And I guess if the aluminum part's leaking, that's tough. So I'm going to let you know the outcome, but I really don't like the design. So I'll keep you posted how it comes out. I got this off. As you can see, that O-ring is as hard as a brick. Right there, seals the oil hole to lubricate the high pressure pump slide. Well, that O-ring is hard as a brick. You can see there's not much RTV left. It's just not sealing very well. And here is that little tab that they put on there for absolutely no reason, to keep you from being able to get that cover off. I was able to spring it a little bit, but this O-ring is dried up and brittle. So I've got to replace that. I think you can see the O-ring here. This is flat and it's hard. So it's leaking there, leaking out the corner. And I don't really see anybody replacing these or resealing them. I mean, when they put the valve cover gasket. So we'll get her done and see what we can do here. Even if they had tapered this a little bit down towards the bottom, we wouldn't have this problem. So thank you, Mr. Engineer, for doing that for absolutely no reason but to make my life harder. Okay, update. So I was able to get this off. I'm back on. There's that tab that some stupid person designed in there. So I was able to get it back on. They used sealing on this. It wasn't RTV, so I used number 3 Permatex to seal it. I used to seal Volkswagen cases with it and stuff, and it works really well. So I got it back in. I could flex this back shield enough, and I finally got it in. It wasn't easy. There's an O-ring that feeds the high pressure fuel pump slide in there. It lubricates that. This O-ring was flat and hard, wore out. So I replaced that O-ring, and so we should be good to go. Alright, so I got the back piece on. Everything tightened back up. Cam sensor back in. And the line anchored here with that stud that goes up into here. So now we're ready to put the other valve cover on. Alright, so got that back on. Got that all hooked up. New O-rings on the variable valve timing adjusters. Sensors in and everything. So this will go down in. Went ahead and put the plugs in it while I was there. And then this piece will go down under this, and that'll go on top of that. Alright, so I got everything back on. All the layers. Put new plugs in it while I was out. So all I gotta do is put the trays back in, wipers back on. We're good to go. It'd be easier if I ever did one again, but hopefully if someone else is doing one of these, it'll help you out a little bit. So it was an experience, but everything seems to be okay. Alright, old donkey, catch you next time.